Okay, so let's get ready to begin. We'll still be mostly sitting down, so a chair without kind of armrest. Have more chairs around if we need it for balance, for support. Okay, and we'll still be kind of concentrating on going through like a bigger range of motion. Okay, so really try to, when we do a motion, really try to exaggerate it. So let's try less small movements and really bigger movements. Okay, we also try to kind of coordinate our movement, our gaze, okay, like where our eyes are looking, and also our voice as well. Okay, and maybe the breath. So you're counting out, so kind of like the voice as well. So trying to match it so that we're moving kind of intentionally, okay, moving with more force. Okay, so let's start off with our posture. Okay, so let's start off with just maybe feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Okay, and we want our pelvis to be in the right place. So a lot of times when we sit, we are in what we call posterior pelvic tilt. Okay, so imagine your pelvis like a bowl of water. When we slouch, we kind of pouring water out from the back. So see if you can go more to what we call anterior pelvic tilt, which means you're kind of lightly kind of pouring water out from the front. So we don't need to do it too much. It's just a slight tilt, okay, so that we have a little bit of a curve in our backs. Okay, so the first one is just we're going to work on this bigger posture. Okay, so we're going to start off with just kind of leaning, kind of breathing up, kind of breathing in. Okay, and then we go say one. Okay, and we'll open up. Try to go as tall as you can. Open up the shoulders. Doesn't have to be high, but just kind of staying tall, chest up, and hands wide. Okay, so that will be the first kind of movement. Okay, so if you want to count out loud for me, okay, so that you are matching your voice, your gaze, okay, and also your movement as well. Okay, so be okay, kind of leaning forward a little bit. Okay, and one. Okay, so I'm breathing in, maybe a little bit more pressure for the feet. Two. Three. Four. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Okay, and we just pause here for a second while I let more people in. Okay, so first thing we want to work on is the extension, which is just what we did. Okay, so just getting our chest a little bit taller. Okay, and then our shoulders kind of relaxed a little bit wider apart. Okay, so that's the extension part. Okay, so that's the first other thing we want to focus on. Okay, second thing we kind of talked about last week is the weight shifting. So whenever we want to move, we have to shift our weight in between. Okay, so when you just go back into that kind of what we call maybe a power up stance, which is chest tall, pelvis slightly to the forward. Okay, so there's should be a curve, a caving, the back should cave in a little bit in the back. Okay, and your hands out on the side. Okay, when you try to rock kind of back side to side a little bit. Okay, so when you go reach, okay, kind of go one. Okay, so have your feet even wider apart if you want. Okay, but try to exaggerate the move. Okay, so it'll be one. Okay, look where you want to go. Two. Okay, if your arms get high, we drop it a little bit in between. 3. 4. Okay, so imagine kind of more pressure on one of your tailbone and the other. Okay, so 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Okay, and relax in between. Okay, feel free to kind of just relax for a second in between so you can still start your back while we're not working. Okay, but when we get back into the movement, Then try to go back to that tall posture where you have tilt your pelvis more forward instead of completely backwards. Okay, so that's side to side kind of weight shifting. Okay, let's try front to back knees. Okay, so let's bring our chest up again. Okay, once again, slight tilt forward of the pelvis. Okay, check your back. This should be a curve kind of giving in. More people in. Okay, and we're still going to go back to this wide posture. It doesn't have to be all the way back. Okay, just think of yourself getting chest a little taller, shoulders a little wider, and taller through the spine. Okay, so we need to go kind of reach forward, okay, and then come back. Okay, so when you reach forward, feel more pressure on your feet. Okay, reach, try to go a little further away as far as you feel comfortable, and clap. Okay, and coming back. Okay, always going back to that tall posture. Okay, and 2. Deep breath in, tall. 3. Okay, so just feel more pressure through your feet as your weight shifts forward. 4. Okay, once again, hands can be a little lower as you come back. 5. 6. Okay, and as you lean forward, try to not slouch. You're going to imagine pulling your belly button forward as you lean forward. 7. 8. 9. 10. Okay, and once again, going back to the tall posture. Okay, shoulders just slightly away from the body. Okay, and you can relax in between. Okay, so just different ways to move. Okay, next one, let's combine the 2. Okay, so when you go kind of all the way around, okay, but once again, we're exaggerating a bigger movement. Okay, always go back to a taller posture. Okay, going back to the position where your pelvis is slightly tilted forward. Okay, so we're just going to clasp our fingers together. Okay, feet once again a little bit wider, not so far away, maybe just slightly to be your ankles be underneath your knees. Okay, and we're just going to go a big circle all the way around. Okay, so not just your arms, but feel the weight shifting on your pelvis. So you feel like you're sitting on one side of your butt cheeks a little bit more. Okay, and back to center, and then the opposite way around. Okay, so a bigger motion all the way around. Okay, always go back to this top posture. So even if the hands are a little closer, we don't want to be here. Okay, a little bit higher up top. Once again, keep that curve in your back. Okay, nice and tall once again. Okay, so we go, take a breath in. 1. Okay, all the way around. Come back to this tall position. Okay, once again, exaggerate the motion. Okay, so make sure you feel safe though. So 2, coming back. Okay, but feel the weight shift from one butt cheek to one of your foot. Okay, 3. Okay, focus on the bigger motion. 4. 5. Okay, look where you want to go as well. 6. Okay, go slowly as you need to. Focus on a bigger range. Focus on really that weight shifting. 7. 8. Okay, always go back to that posture. 9. Okay, and 10. Okay, and pausing for a second. Okay, once again, when we're not moving, you can slouch or whatever is comfortable for you. Lean back, rest on your backrest a little bit. Okay, and pausing in between. Okay, so the next one, we're still working on a weight shift. Okay, but let's try to exaggerate backwards movements a little bit. Okay, so before we did leaning forward already. Okay, but this time let's try to go backwards a little bit. Okay, while trying to keep up this tall posture. Okay, so still same starting position, still nice and tall. Okay, kind of puff your chest up a little bit. Check the curve in the back. Okay, this time we have the hands across our chest like this. Okay, your goal is to keep up the middle of the X. Okay, so as your arms do kind of drag you a little more forward. Okay, but try to see if you can push that middle of that cross, middle of the X more towards the ceiling. Maybe feel a little bit of your mid-back muscles tightening a little bit. Okay, this time we'll have our feet slightly more forward. Okay, and now this time we're just going to lean backwards slightly. Okay, as you lean back, you're going to have a tendency to want to drop that X. Okay, see if you can keep the chest, keep the X up. Okay, so we're going to go back. So 1. Okay, downward muscles tightening a little bit. Okay, and coming forward. Okay, so maybe feet not too far forward. We're going to go forward and back, exaggerate. Okay, so we'll be leaning back. Okay, so and then lean forward. Okay, as you lean forward, feel once again more pressure through your feet. Okay, but try to keep that X up, so don't look there. Keep looking maybe a few feet in front of you, keeping up that tall posture as you shift your weight forward and back. Okay, we'll just exaggerate backwards movements a little bit more. Okay, so once again, bring that X upwards. Okay, so let's go starting from the top. So it'll be 1, moving forward. Okay, and as you lean back, still keep that X up. Okay, so 2. Okay, coming backwards. We pause a little bit. 3, 4. Okay, so feel the weight shifting onto your foot. 5. Okay, and it's shifting back onto your butt cheeks. A little more tension in the abdominals. 6. Okay, but keep that X up. 7. Okay, so lean forward, your butt cheeks almost slightly lift off the chair. 8. Okay, so we're shifting our weight onto our feet. 9. 10. Okay, and back to that our posture again. Okay, before we just take a rest in between. Okay, so do kind of say out loud with me if you feel comfortable. Okay, our voice kind of reflexively sometimes can reflect how we feel or just how we use our voice, or sometimes singing can make us feel better. Saying things out loud, okay, can make us just move a little better as well. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the side to side, shifting the weight. Okay, but this time we're going to exaggerate even more. Okay, so we're going to be reaching all up and across with our arms. Okay, so this time, feet even wider apart. Okay, same as usual. Tilt your pelvis forward. Okay, so you can imagine kind of pulling your belly button a little bit more forward. Okay, you feel like you're sitting on the 2 pieces of bone. Okay, and once again, chest up. Okay, so don't over exaggerate the curve though. So just double check. So if it's really caving in, you might be overdoing it. So just a light curve. Okay, but bring your chest up. Okay, use your hip muscles to really try to widen your feet as well. So if you feel like your hips has to work a little bit too, so not quite so much here. Okay, widen your stance. Okay, use hip muscles to widen it. Okay, kind of first maybe underneath the knees a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to go leans one way. Okay, so feel a little more pressure through one foot, okay, until you can kind of even reach the elbow to the knees, reaching over. Okay, if you want to have more chairs all the way around, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. Okay, but when you go exaggerated, side to side shift, weight shifting, okay, you should feel more pressure on one foot. Okay, so make sure it's not kind of, it should be supporting you. So use your hips to open up the knees, okay, so that you actually kind of putting your weight on it instead of kind of falling off to your side. Okay, so open wide first. Okay, always going back to this wide position, knees wide. Okay, so it'll be 1. Coming back. 2. 3. 4. Okay, hips might be even getting a little tired. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and let's pause for a second. Okay, so probably hips might be a little tight. We're not quite used to keeping our knees kind of out like this. Okay, and once again in between, just pausing for a second. Okay, so now let's go on to a little bit more standing so we can break out the long periods of standing. Okay, so how we stand up is actually the same way we just did. Okay, so still weight shifting forward until we have more pressure on the feet, okay, or more of a mass on top of our feet. Okay, then we kind of pushing upwards. Okay, if you need to grab more chairs all the way around you, it can be in front of you, could be off to the side. Okay, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. Okay, so you're going to grab one more chair around, okay, just so fully kind of surrounded. Okay, at any point if you need a break, feel free to just take a break. You don't always have to do 10 repetitions either. Okay, whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay, so we're going to still do it in a very more exaggerated version. Okay, so we're actually going to lean, reach forward first until you feel your weight fully on your feet. Okay, and then you're going to power up. Where you drive through the feet, open up. Okay, so standing position exactly the same stuff we kind of pay attention to when we're sitting there. Okay, so still taller through the chest, wider through the shoulders. Okay, gaze looking forward, so staying tall, maybe a little bit of tension in the feet. Okay, and as we come back there, okay, make sure the chair is not a rolling chair. Make sure it's not going to slide out from behind you. If you need to, just as you reach down, just make sure the chair is there. Okay, if you know the chair is not going to move, okay, then you can have your feet, have your hands back, out forward, or just a little bit in front. Makes it a little bit easier to balance. Okay, so we're going to be reaching forward, okay, almost like imagine we're doing breaststrokes, like when we're straight. Okay, just a few more weight on your feet. Okay, and power up. 1. Okay, coming back down. Okay, back to maybe even slightly backwards. Okay, you can lean forward. Once again, pulling your belly button forward. Feel your weight shifting more on your feet. Okay, and up. 2. Okay, and weight shifting back onto butt cheeks. Okay, and weight forward. Power up. 3. Okay, and lean forward. Weight on your feet. 4. Weight forward onto our feet, drive the heels. 5. Okay, so hands goes forward, kind of bums go back. 6. 7. Weight forward again. 8. 9. 10. Okay, so still hang out in this taller posture for a second first. Okay, and relax. Okay, so once again, exaggerate, bigger motion, use our voice, look where you want to go. So don't look towards the floor because we're not trying to get towards the floor. Make sure you look forward or even slightly upwards. Okay, so that's a lot of kind of weight shifting. Okay. We're gonna also do that standing upwards as well. Okay, so we're gonna practice the weight shifting front to back in a little bit, but make sure once again you have the chairs around to make you feel safe. Okay, so when we're ready, let's stand back up again. Okay, so you can use the exact same method, so still weight shifting on the feet and pushing, driving through the legs. Okay, so for this one, we bring the chairs a little bit closer. We walk forward a little bit just so that you're not going to trip on a chair. Okay, and we're just going to have kind of 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. So I should probably go back a little bit so I am in frame. Okay, but have as many chairs as you need around. Feet not so close, maybe hip width apart. Okay, and 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Okay, so for this one, we're going to practice shifting a weight to our front foot, to our back foot. Okay, so, but we're still going to start off with good posture. Okay, so even if you're holding on to something, bring your chest up. Okay, put your head on top of your shoulders, the shoulders on top of your hips. Okay, so move the chairs around until you, as much as you need to. Okay, and let's just start off simple. We can hold onto the chair first. Okay, and we're just going to shift the weight forward, okay, and backwards. Okay, staying tall throughout. Okay, feeling the weight, the pressure going between the 2 foot. Okay, so as you lean forward, you should have more of your weight on your front leg. As you shift back, shift more of your weight on the back leg. Okay, so let's try 10 times in this this orientation. Okay, so 1 leg forward first. Okay, so be 1, 2. Okay, stay tall. 3. Okay, doesn't have to be fast. Okay, 4. Okay, but really feel your weight, so you should be able to lift the other foot upwards. Okay, if your weight is still not moving in between, you're gonna have trouble lifting it because you're still stepping on that leg. Okay, so try to shift far enough forward and back, okay, so that you can move the other leg. Okay, and backwards, same backwards, you should be able to kind of lift the leg easily or tap your foot easily. Okay, and 6, 7, 8. Okay, stay tall throughout. 9, 10. Okay, and coming back for a second, it's still maintaining that kind of power neutral stance. Okay, just wide, confident position. Okay, feet not so close. Okay, moving both apart. Okay, and at any points, of course, you can rest in between, shake it out a little bit. Okay, use your hands for support. Okay, let's do the same thing with the other foot forward now. Okay, so still feet not so close together, maybe hip width apart. Okay, front to back. Okay, maybe kind of at least your heel should be at least in front of the toes of the other foot. Okay, so if it's like this, it's probably too close. Okay, so your heel should be at least in front of the toes. Okay, once again, exaggerate that weight shifting. Okay, so you're actually lean going forward, moving on. You can feel more pressure even on the toes of the front foot. Okay, if you need to, have more shift the chairs around. Okay, just so that you feel comfortable. Okay, and same thing backwards. Okay, feel the weight shifting onto that back leg again. Okay, so the 1, 2, 3. Okay, if you feel comfortable, you can have less support of your arms. 4, 5. Okay, but stay tall. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and once again, pausing in between. Okay, so let's switch back to the sitting position, okay, just so we can go between standing and sitting. Okay, once again, you can have your hands forward a little bit, or you can just make sure the chair is there first. Okay, shift your weight back onto your butt. Okay, so next one, continuation of the weight shifting is the rotation of the trunk. Okay, or weight shifting and turning. Okay, so we're going to start out with that wide power stance again. Okay, so still once again, try not to be kind of slouching like this. Okay, if your water is pouring out from the back of your pelvis, you need to bring it a little bit more forward. Okay, so belly button slightly more forward so that you have a little bit of a curve in your back. Okay, legs wide again. Okay, hands can be a little wider. Okay, so let's do a slight rotation first. You're going to just relax one leg a little bit, so let the knees drop inwards. Okay, and then opening back up. Okay, so wide stance again. Okay, use hip muscles. Use a little bit of the back muscles to open the chest again. Okay, once again, hands doesn't have to be all the way up here. It could be down here as well. Okay, but tall and wide. Okay, and when you go, let's start from one again. So it'll be one. Okay, just kind of maybe touch the knee on the opposite side. Okay, and then opening back up again. Okay, and two. Okay, so look where you want to go. So looking, kind of match our gaze with our breath. Okay, with our movement. 3, 4. Okay, if you need to hold on, still hold on to more chairs. 5. Okay, wide through the hands, wide through the legs. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and relax in between. Hips probably a little tired right now. Okay, and do whatever you need to do to kind of relax in between. Okay, so that's kind of a turning side to side. Okay, once again, exaggerate the movement, widen your body. Okay, so we're going to switch between kind of standing and sitting. Okay, so when we go back to standing again, we're still going to work, switch gears again, going back to forward and back curve movement. Okay, but this time exaggerating it a little more again. Okay, so once again, use as much support as you need. Okay, lean, push your weight forward. 1, go power up. Okay, and once again, pause for a second. Make sure you feel okay first. Okay, so this time, it's kind of similar idea. Still 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Okay, but this time we might just need a little bit more space on one of our sides. Okay, so when you still have kind of 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Okay, so this time instead of just shifting our weight front to back, okay, just with our body weight, but just with the legs. Okay, we're going to use the arms as well. As you move down, you're going to kind of push hips backwards a little bit. So really put weight on that back leg. Okay, as you come up, you're going to bring palms up. Okay, imagine you're trying to kind of give something to someone that's high up. Okay, so shift your waist forward, reaching upwards. Okay, and we're going to look where you want to go. Okay, and once again, you're going to almost imagine there's a basket behind you. You're going to reach down, grab an apple or something like that. Okay, and then bring it down. Okay, or you can do the thing of the opposite. You're reaching up to grab an apple. Okay, and then you're going to shift back to drop it onto a basket that's kind of somewhere behind you. Okay, so once again, not too narrow the feet, a little bit wider. Use more support. Okay, make sure you be careful that you don't hit your arm. Okay, so once again, check our posture, taller first. Okay, and let's go 1, shift forward, reaching up. Okay, look where you want to go. Grab that apple, drop it behind you. 2, 3. Okay, once again, still feel the weight onto that front leg. 4. Okay, pause a little bit at the top, lengthen your body. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so you maybe do a little slower, try to really reach up, okay, until you reach your limit. Pause there for a second before coming back. Yeah. Okay, so your heart rate feeling a little bit faster, shoulders might be a little bit tired. Okay, so let's pause for a second. Okay. Focusing on deeper breathing into our belly. Okay, and when you're ready, let's try the same thing with the other foot forward. Okay, so still 1 foot forward, foot back. Stands wide enough to balance ourselves side to side. Okay, once again, really feel the weight shifting front to back. Okay, exaggerate the motion of the arms forward and back. Okay, so make sure you have enough space on this side. Okay, so once again, reaching up and forward, weight shifting onto our front leg. 1. Okay, drop it to a basket behind you. 2, 3. Okay, look where you want to go. 4, 5. Okay, reach. 6, 7. Okay, it's okay if your range is a little smaller. 8. Okay, let's just do our best. So it could be just here to here. 9. Okay, but still just try to reach a little further. 10. Okay, and coming back. Okay, and let's switch back to the sitting position again. Okay, so make sure the chair is there. Okay, even just find a chair. Okay, but stick your bum out. Okay, and sit back onto the chair. Okay, so next one, we're still going to be going side to side. Okay, but this time really try to exaggerate turning. Okay, so feet wide enough. Okay, so as you turn, let's try to do it with other hands first, so you can hold on to the chair behind you. Okay, so as you turn, you still have a little bit of support. Okay, but see if you can turn your entire body. Okay, so you might have to be sitting a little closer to the front. Okay, so as you turn, your entire body faces one direction. So it means one hand kind of still touching the back of the chair. Okay, or you can once again have as much support as you need in between. Okay, so it's doing something like this. Okay, so still back to that power stance first. Okay, so feet a little wider. Pour water in the front a little bit. Okay, chest tall, shoulders wide. Okay, but let's start off with hands kind of lightly touching or grabbing the chair. Okay, once again, knees a little wider, chest a little taller. Okay, so when you go 1, exaggerate turn. So try to reach. Okay, and coming back. Okay, still back to that power stance. Okay, that wide stance. 2. Okay, look where we want to go. 3. Staying tall in the middle. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. Okay, so actually don't just twist your spine, turn your body. 9, 10. Okay, and once again, relax in between. Okay, and we're going to just do more or less the same thing, okay, but just in a standing position next. Okay, so we're just working on our ability to turn our body side to side. Okay, we exaggerate the movement now because it is practice. Okay, usually we don't have to move that big. Okay, but for practice, exaggerate the movement, make it a little more difficult for yourself. Okay, so when we go back to our daily activities, when we just need to turn a little bit, it will feel easier for you. Okay, so let's power up first. So it's good posture, feet in a good position. Okay, chairs around as you need to. Okay, shift your weight on top on your feet. Okay, and up. Okay, and let's pause for a second. Okay, just so we don't feel dizzy or anything like that. Okay, stay here for as long as you need to until you feel fine to continue. Okay, so when you're ready, go back to that power stance. Okay, so just not the slouch looking downwards. Okay, look up, chest high, shoulders wide. Okay, a little bit of curve in the back. Okay, so toes a little bit wider than your hip width, toes pointing out slightly to the side. But this one maybe not, don't go too wide though. So we just hip width, I think is actually easier. At most slightly wider hip width. Okay, but once again, figure yourself as 7 feet tall. Okay, everything is stacked on top of each other. So your head is on top of your shoulders is on top of your hips is on top of your feet. Okay, so now we're just going to turn side to side. Okay, so toes a little more, once again, pointing us forward. Okay, you're going to turn until maybe both hands is on one side and coming back. Okay, if you don't need chairs or if you feel fine, you can just bring both arms forward, up to one side, turning your trunk, turning your hips, and coming back, always coming back to that power stance in between. Okay, so let's start from the top. Okay, so 1, coming back, tall once again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, once again, look where you want to go. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we'll hold that power stance for a little bit. Okay, and let's go back to sitting once again. Okay, so sometimes I might find a chair just so my legs can kind of know where it is. And swing it back, okay, sit back down. Okay, so we're still working on rotation, okay, but this time exaggerate it even more. Okay, so this time, do it with more force, do it with more intention so that you turn. You can actually make a sound with your hands coming together. Okay, so don't just kind of reach your arms across. Okay, turn your body, turn your hips until you can actually reach the other side. Okay, so once again, if you do need to hold on a chair, maybe just do it faster, be careful between your hands and your fingers. Okay, but if you can, see if you can maybe do it with less support so that you have room to clap your hands. Okay, so feet wide again. Once again, don't be slouched like this. Okay, slightly belly forward, shoulders wide, entire spine long. Okay, so we're just going to turn and we practice a few times first. Okay, turn, see if you can actually touch first. Okay, and now we're going to try to do with more intention. Okay, so it'll be 1. Going back to that wide position in between. 2. I should probably move the chest a little further away so I can hit my fingers. 3. Okay, wide for the feet, wide for the shoulders. 4. Okay, look where you want to go. 5. 6. 7. Okay, check your posture still. 8. 9. 10. Okay, and still staying tall for a little bit. Okay, before we just kind of still, before we collapse into a resting, more of a resting position. Okay, I'm just going to check the time real quick. Okay, so we're about maybe a couple more minutes. Okay, so let's go on to the 4th thing we want to practice, which is continuation of the weight shifting or the turning. Is the stepping. Okay, so we just turn, we're still stuck somewhere here. We need to actually turn, move our feet to go in different directions. Okay, so we're going to start off with just feet maybe hip width apart. Okay, once again, posture first. Power up. Okay, once again, you don't have to overexaggerate too much. Okay, think of bring your chest up. Okay, but you're not overly curving your back. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to go step out. Okay, and look where you want to go again. Okay, open up, same thing on the side, but just with a step as well. Okay, and coming back. Okay, stepping out. Okay, staying tall throughout. Coming back. Okay, so it's a bit of weight shifting, bit of rotation. Okay, but moving our feet as well. Okay, so if your weight is still on your feet, it's very difficult to shift. You actually need to shift your weight over the opposite side before you can step out. Okay, so if you imagine you lean towards one side and you try to pick up that feet, it becomes more difficult. Okay, so it's a bit of counter weight shifting to step out and then coming back. Okay, but with a taller posture throughout. Okay, level gaze. Okay, head almost a little bit on top of our shoulders again. Okay, so let's again power up. Okay, and 1. Okay, so add almost a little bit of a stomp. Okay, do with intention again. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. Okay, still staying tall. 9. 10. Okay, still stay tall for a little bit. Take a couple of breaths in and out first. Okay, and then just relax in between. Okay, so we'll finish off with this very last one, same thing, but in a standing position. Okay, so just pausing for a second, give ourselves a little bit of rest. Okay, when you're ready, power up. Okay, feet a little bit closer to ourselves. Okay, maybe as grab as much support as you need. Okay, shift your weight onto your foot and up. Okay, and once again, pause a little bit, maybe pump your heels a little bit in between. Okay, so this time we might only need maybe one chair. Okay, just in front of us. Okay, so just imagine a chair here. Those this is how to see. So I'm going to push the other side, but imagine a chair in front of me. Okay, almost exact same thing as we did sitting position. Okay, we're going to take a step out. Okay, and open up. Okay, and take a step back, coming back in. Okay, so you need to have, once again, as much chairs as you need around. Okay, but still starting off position. Okay, so power up first. Okay, chest tall, shoulders wide. Okay, imagine maybe I still have imagine if I have a chair in front of me. Okay, so I'm going 1. Step out. Okay, you have the weight even on that foot. Okay, so you feel your weight shifting onto that foot. And push coming back. 2. Okay, once again, feel your weight on that outside leg a little bit. Coming back in. Okay, it could be slower, could be a smaller step, but do our best to exaggerate the movements. Okay, it doesn't have to be fast either. Okay, but do with intention. Okay, so 3. Okay, weight onto the leg. Weight coming back to center. 4. Okay, slowly see if you can take a bigger step out. Okay, open up the hips. 5. Okay, staying tall and retreat. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Okay, still stay tall. Find ourselves back to the chair first. Okay, reach, find the chair. Okay, still staying tall. Okay, and then just relax and retreat. Okay, so shake everything out. Okay, so the basic idea is pretty simple. It's just a couple of kind of movements that we have to we really should maintain. So a lot of people, when they get stuck or when they try, it's hard for them to move around. Sometimes they lost one of these abilities. So they are too slouched like this. Okay. B, they lost the ability to shift their weight around. Okay, from foot to foot, from forward to back. Okay, they lost the ability to turn. Okay, so sometimes when they walk, they become it's like shuffling steps. Okay, instead of being able to just turn more smoothly. Okay, and lastly, just being able to exaggerate a step. Okay, so whenever we need to turn, we're doing kind of all of the above. Okay, so I think let's call it a day. So it's been 15 minutes. Okay, so good job, everyone. So thank you for coming. Hope this is useful for you, and see everyone maybe next time. You too. Bye. Thank you. Bye. I think this class might be too easy for most of you because I recognize too many of the names from the other classes. You too.